The purpose of this video is to show you how you can access the Everyday Math website from home. Now this website can be accessible from a variety of devices. You could use a tablet like an iPad or a Kindle Fire. You could use a laptop, a desktop computer, a Chromebook. You could even use a smartphone. It should work across all those different devices. Now you should have received a letter or an email from your teacher that directs you to either their school page or their classroom page. And you'll want to navigate to your teacher's page and then find your student's name. I'm using a fake set of students here, so we're going to pretend we're Caitlin today. I'm going to go ahead and click on her, and then I need to enter her password. This is simplified login, so all she needs to enter is a number, a fruit, and a shape. Now this login button loves to hide down here, so if you don't see it, just scroll down. And when you log in, you need to see a book like this. If it says that your teacher has not assigned any content, please email your teacher. They just need to click one thing in their teacher version of this, and that will get it assigned. So just let them know if you don't see anything. But if you see a book, you are ready to go. I'm using the grade 6 book today, but you should have your child's grade level here. So I'll go ahead and click on this, and this will open our book to today's content. So I'm going to show you the basics of this kind of home base for everyday math. The first thing in the largest section is today's lesson. Now this is kind of an odd lesson in 6th grade, so I'm going to go back a lesson. Notice you cannot jump forward because we don't want people racing ahead, but you can always go back and revisit. So let's go back to lesson 211, and if I click on this, you will see the activities from today's lesson. So it starts with our mental math and then our math message. And this is really helpful if your student is out sick for the day or you go on vacation when the rest of school is in session. You can actually access most of the activities that your teacher did with the class today. So let's look at the math message. It'll take a moment to load, but you will actually see the problems from today, and you can actually have it read out loud. So it's really nice to have access to these problems, and sometimes there are multiple pages. So let me go back to the main lesson. Now some of the activities in the lessons, like the ones with the magnifying lenses, those might be teacher-led, so there may not be so much content in there. It might even look blank. Those are kind of in-class activities that you can't really replicate online. And if I go forward, I can even see that I have home link, and I also have some different activities that kind of build off of what was done today. These are kind of extra activities. So let's go back to our home base. I'll do that by clicking on the home icon. And keep in mind, if you need to review, you can always go back lessons. Now the student reference book is a great tool that I wish more people used. When your student brings their study link home, their homework, oftentimes you'll see a little book icon that has some page numbers inside of it. That's referencing this, the student reference book. And it's kind of like a math dictionary, and you can look up the different topics related to your child's homework. This is really helpful because a lot of the ways that students are asked to solve problems in this program are not the way that we were taught math. So this will actually explain those algorithms that we may not understand. So I'm going to type in page 50 and let's see what we get. So here is a page talking about ratios and proportional relationships. It starts kind of zoomed out, so I like to zoom in when I get to these pages. You can see that the text can be read out loud, and on some pages you'll actually see, instead of those little audio icons, here we go, you'll see examples and you'll see a play button. If you push the play button, it will actually talk you through a problem like a teacher is there, almost like a Khan Academy video. So let me jump ahead. You'll actually see them solving this problem. Here we go. So you can see it'll actually do a demo of this kind of problem. So if you're not sure how the student's supposed to approach this problem, you can always watch these demos, and they're very, very helpful. So that's the student reference book. It really is a nice tool. I'm going to close this tab to go back to my main page. Here's the e-toolkit. The e-toolkit actually lets you use the different tools that students would use in class. I know a lot of us don't have things like pattern blocks and fraction circles at home, so we can actually access them here. So let's do pattern blocks. You can see I can actually drag these tools up like I'd have them, in real life. I can rotate them. I can even change their sizes. So I can work with that. There's also a variety of backgrounds you can use. These are really nice. So like if you're doing multiplication, they have those those lattice grids that you can use for multiplication. They have number lines you can use, number grids, all kinds of great backgrounds. So like, let me just show you a number line. So you can actually see that, and then students could use this to work through a problem. So it's nice. If they need a tool to help them solve a problem, you can access all of them from this area. The Geometer Sketchpad activities are nice extension activities if your child's looking for more of a hands-on challenge to practice some of their skills that they're learning in math. This is a nice tool. And then they do have tutorial videos that will help talk you through some concepts. But I want to focus on this. The Everyday Math games online are a lovely way to help our kids practice. These are built right into their lessons. They play all of these in school, so they should know the rules. Now in 6th grade, we just have the grade 6, and then these are called skill builder games. These are games that are help us with our math facts. It's more of extra practice if your child's struggling in a certain skill. And there's 1-player and then 2-player games. The 2-player games, they can play with somebody else seated at the same device. So you could play with them, a sibling could play with them, but that 2-player game is a nice back and forth. Now, if your student's in another grade, if you click on this little kind of caret up here, you can access all the grades. So let's say I had a 3rd grader. Here are my 3rd grade games. These are my skill builders, which are extra practice if they need a little extra help. Or if your 3rd grader is beating every single game here, there's also challenge games, which will push them a little further. Now, let's say we're getting towards the end of the school year and even the challenge games aren't hard enough. There, we can always jump up to grade 4. This is also nice because you can use one student's account, and if you have multiple students in your household, you can jump between any grade level so that you can find games that are the best fit for them. I do love these games. They have instructions built into them. It will correct the child and give them feedback. And starting later this school year, the teachers should be able to see how often the kids are playing, which questions they're missing, and it's a great tool. So it will start tracking student play a little bit later this year, which is a really powerful thing. We're not going to worry so much about favorites and assignments because we're not really using those right now. However, Everyday Math at Home is a wonderful button here. These have the family letters you get at the beginning of the unit. Literature list actually gives you books that correlate with the math that they're learning, so there's connections there. And the Do Anytime activities are lovely extensions that you can do with your student at home. Now I'm going to jump back a lesson because this lesson didn't have homework with it, but lesson 211 does. Check this out. When I click on Everyday Math at Home, today's home link is right here. And if your student leaves their homework at school, you can actually get a PDF version of that homework right here. Notice here's that reference book number, so that's page 41 I could look at for help. But I could actually print this up if they left their physical paper at school. Or if your printer's not working, you could always just have them write their answers on a piece of notebook paper. A teacher would have no problem with that. So it is nice that you can access the homework. And also, if you're wondering, gosh, which games should I have my child play? If you look at here, there's actually a section that says these are the games that were played today, and it will take you right to Landmark Shark, which was the game that went with lesson 211. By the way, if this lesson does not match what your student did at school on the day, let your teacher know. They just need to adjust their calendar in this system so that it matches up, and that shouldn't take them too long. So that's your general tour of the Everyday Math online site. I think it's a great tool for students and parents at home. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to contact me. I'm Meredith Nickerson, and I'm the technology coach for the district. You can always email me at nickersonm@dexterschools.org. So I hope you found this useful, and please don't hesitate to let me know if you have any questions.